Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm helping you level up your communication skills. In this episode, we're entering the world of emotional intelligence to speak about how to raise our EQ, also known as the emotional quotient. There's been plenty of different ideas that we've been exposed to in our lifetimes. Plenty. Too many to count. And from those many ideas that we've absorbed and we understood intellectually, there were a few of those ideas that we actually took action on. Now, those ideas that we took action on, what is it that all those ideas have in common? What all those ideas have in common is that it made us feel a certain type of way. All of those ideas. Otherwise, you may absorb it, you know it intellectually, but you don't know exactly how it applies to you in your life. This is an insight. Meaningful ideas that make us feel a certain type of way are much more likely to be executed. This is crucial information for anyone that is improving their communication skills because we're in the game of relaying our ideas. And if these ideas can make someone feel a certain type of way, then they are much more likely to execute on this idea. But in this situation, it's a very quick of a situation to go south. You could start acting like an idiot very quickly. Oh, I gotta make someone feel a certain type of way. Well, I could learn juggling. I could start acting like a monkey. I could get one of those red noses like a clown. I can make them feel a certain type of way. This is true. You may make them feel a certain type of way, but these emotions are not congruent to your idea and to your behavior. In order to make someone feel authentic emotions, you gotta feel it first yourself. You gotta feel that energy in regards to the idea so you can relay it to someone else and you can replicate that same emotion in someone else as well. But the key is that we gotta feel that energy first. And how are we gonna do that if we can't even control the energy? If our emotions are going from one side of the spectrum to another side of the spectrum, then it's very difficult to know where we stand in regards to certain issues, which is going to take away the power of our message, which is going to take away the power of the other person executing on the action plan that we have for them. What are you driving at, man? What do you want me to do? This is why we have to build our emotional intelligence. This is why we have to build the emotional quotient where there's understanding regarding the different energies out there. And from that understanding, rather than labeling these emotions too quick, we could just lay back and feel the emotions. Much easier said than done. This is a very difficult task to do. And today, our friend Hussey is going to he's going to show us why it's so difficult to do. And who's Hussey? Hussey is a man who moved from Persia and he started his life in the United States of America. And for the past couple of years, he's been depressed. He's been depressed because he left a lot of family in Persia and they're angry with him. He doesn't know anyone in the US, so his family in Persia was extremely irritated that Hussey decided to leave their family business, which he was supposed to take over, and make a selfish move to move to the States. So his family, they ain't vibing with him. Who else is not vibing with him? His boss. His boss is another Persian fellow. You would think since they're Persian, they're going to be bonding with each other, cracking jokes and stuff. Not at all. Hussey works in a pizza shop and his boss is always yelling at him, breathing down his neck, telling him what to do, and berating him in front of the other customers. So his boss doesn't like him either. Who else doesn't like Hussey? The other people that don't like Hussey are his neighbors. his neighbors are always playing very, very loud music late at night. And Hussey has gone through them a few times, and in a very gentle way, he says, guys, can you please turn down the music? And when they heard that from Hussey, they turned up the music. As you can tell, a lot of people don't like Hussey, and Hussey is having a very tough time in his life dealing with his emotions. Yet, there's one safe haven that Hussey has. And what's that? It's his front yard. His front yard is that one place where he has control over. That one place where he feels like a king. In his front yard, he does some gardening. He plants flowers. He makes it look nice. And every morning, he wakes up to his front yard. And every day when he comes back from work, he just stands looking at his front yard, proud. This is that one place that is my safe haven. Unfortunately for Hussey, there is a dog park that was just built right across from his front yard. And that dog park has a sign which says that you are not allowed to allow your dogs to poop in the actual park. Anywhere else is fine, but if you get caught with your dog pooping in the park, you will be fined. Okay, no problem for the other dog owners, because where do you think they're going to go next? They're going to take their dogs in front of Hussey's front yard and let them release their excrements over there. One dog owner, just one dog owner, started off this trend of having his dog poop in Hussey's front yard, and then the other dog owners subconsciously made note of it and is like, oh, okay, my dog can poop in that same location too. What was once Hussey's pride and joy is now being infested with dog poop. One place he looks, dog poop, another place, another place, another place, and he's becoming livid. This is my front yard. This is my safe haven. This is the one place that I have all this control over, and you guys are disrespecting me like that? One day he leaves from work and he goes to Home Depot. He gets all these different supplies, and he's going to make one of the nicest signs which politely says, dog owners, do not allow your dogs to poop on the front yard. Otherwise, I'm going to get mad. He's not going to write all of that down, but he's going to compress it, and he's going to make this nice sign so he can gain control back over his front yard. He makes a sign. The sign looks beautiful, and he posts it up in front of his front yard. He ends up going to work, and unfortunately, when he starts coming back, he notices that a lot of these dog owners, they built muscle memory at this point. They don't know where else to take their dogs, and they just blatantly ignore the sign. Even with this sign, they're not listening. Hussey is getting furious. All parts of his life is falling apart. His family doesn't like him. His neighbors doesn't like him. His boss doesn't like him. And now they're trying to take away that one thing that does like him, his front yard. No, it's not going to work like that. What he decides to do the next day is he decides to take off from work. And he's going to be looking out his window, just waiting for someone to make a move. Just waiting for someone to get their dog and poop on his precious front yard. Hussey is surprised. He's extremely surprised because on the morning, he wakes up at 5 a.m. At 5:30 a.m., before even a lot of time has passed, there's a girl that's walking with a chihuahua. She's white, blonde hair, wearing a short skirt, holding a Starbucks latte, and she's drinking it. Something about her face looks kind of worried, and she's walking. She looks like a sweet girl. Hussey expects her to be sweet as well. You don't give me no problems, I ain't gonna give you no problems either. Spoke too soon. the girl, starts getting the dog and comes right in front of Hussey's precious sign and has the dog starting to poop in the front lawn. Right in front of the sign. Hussey is flabbergasted. He's like, oh, you trying to play this game? You are actually disrespecting me. Hussey's fuming, but he knows what to do. He opens his drawer, pulls out his gun, and he starts storming outside. Hey, you, what do you think you're doing? He pulls up the gun, cocks it back, puts his hand on the trigger. The girl looks at Hussey, mortified. Sir, what's going on? Hey, don't you see that sign right there? Then she looks at the sign and she's flabbergasted. Sir, I didn't notice that sign. I didn't see that sign. Please don't do anything to me. He's like, you're right in front of the sign and you expect me to believe that you didn't see it? No, you're disrespecting me. And he is fuming. His finger is getting ready to pull the trigger. The girl is like, look, sir, I just had a very long day yesterday. Just got in a car accident. I'm actually so sorry. I was not paying attention. And now she starts crying. She's like, like crying in a very whimpering, soft voice. And Hussey at this point, there's two sides to him. One side is fuming with anger. He's pissed. He's livid. And then there's another side, which is like, what are you doing? You're literally pointing a gun at a girl. It's not worth it. You're throwing your life away. If a police officer even sees you right now, you're going to be sentenced to jail, to prison. What are you doing? Then another person, that trigger finger is feeling extremely itchy. Luckily for Hussey, the adult side won. And he tells that girl, if I ever see you again, next time, I'm gonna pull that trigger. And he goes back in. Once he closes the door, he is finally processing what happened. What did I just do? I have this gun, but I promised myself when I was going to get this gun that I was only going to use it in order to defend myself. And the first time ever that I pulled this gun out of my drawer was to aim it at this young girl walking her dog. Is the front yard that serious? That serious where in a matter of microseconds, I could have just thrown my life away. Is it that bad? What's gotten into me? Hussey in this situation just came in contact with one of the very big moments and the dark lessons in regards to EQ. It is not something that is learned the easy way. It's actually very tense moments like this which rapidly brings our EQ up. Later on in that day, imagine if Hussey saw two more people taking a poop right in front of his yard. Do you think he would have acted the way he did with that girl? Not at all, because at this point, he is extremely terrified by his own behavior. There's two sides to him. There's that animal side, and then there's that adult side. And luckily for him, the adult side won this time. But at least he's aware that there is that animal side which can take control any moment. By him having such a shocking experience that was self-inflicted, you could blame the girl as much as you want for her not noticing that sign, but it was still self-inflicted. Hussey, when he closed that door and he sat down and he was thinking about what he just did, he started to take a lot more accountability, and there was a level of terror which was involved. This is how emotional intelligence is built. Now, I'm not saying go in your front yard and start aiming at any girl walking with a Starbucks cup. No. It's more so, this is more so a symbol for dark moments. And it's these dark moments which build emotional quotient towards a higher level. And the beauty regarding all of this is that despite Hussey in this momentary segment being a menace to himself, in the bigger picture, he wins because it just takes that one time for the adult side to beat the animal side. And once that happens, there's much more likelihood of controlling the emotions the next time. And once the emotions are controlled the next time, that's when there's further understanding in regards to the emotions. And that's where a deeper understanding is unlocked. What do you mean by deeper understanding? Currently, in terms of emotions, a lot of it is surface level understanding, which doesn't impact a communicator too much. Happy, sad, angry, these are very surface level emotions. We know when we're building deep emotions that actually lead to creative output, when these surface level emotions start to commingle with one another. It becomes deep when you could feel excited and anxious at the same time, when you could feel sorrow and hopeful at the same time, and you could feel different counterintuitive emotions coexisting with one another. When that polarity starts to build, that's when emotional literacy is being unlocked on a much deeper level. This is when the body is starting to serve as a compass in regards to creative content. And once that deep level of understanding is built through micro increments of the adult side beating the animal side in just little reps consistently throughout our lives, that's when a deeper, stronger understanding regarding emotional literacy is built. And that's when another beauty starts to happen. Not only are you raising your EQ, ironically, this is when you're speaking, it's as though the feelings are coexisting with the intellectual capacities to come out in word form. These ideas that are being expressed are being felt by you, and when you're giving that speech in front of 10 people, all the people may not feel a certain way, but the few people that do, they're facing the real emotions of yours rather than you juggling a bunch of balls with a clown nose. This is the real side. And this real side, as scary as it seems, is built through a lot of these moments that Hussey went through. The moments where the animal side looks like it's going to win, but gradually, the quiet adult side is like, you could do better. Adult side is very quiet, by the way. It whispers. It's like, you could do better. Like that. And every single time the animal side is subjugated, that's each time that emotional literacy builds. And each time emotional literacy builds, better communication is simply a byproduct. Emotions influence creativity. Creativity influences communication. And your communication has the potential to influence someone else's life. Thank you for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.